How could anyone ever tell us that we're anything less than beautiful? I mean, I looked around the room and did we all look at each other and reach out to each other? I just want to thank Eric for being on piano and Rob for the beautiful song, Imagine. That was the song at my ordination as a minister. And before we're ordained, we have retreat time where we have to say, okay, what is my ministry about? And I knew my ministry was about imagining a world that worked for everyone, imagining peace, imagining that we awaken and we come to the understanding that we're all one. So today's topic, unity, is really precious to me because it's so much a fabric of my own intention, my own life. And I feel like I'm with you may say that I'm a dreamer, but look, I'm not the only one. And that's the good news. That's why I love it here. So I really love this community, and I love that we are imagining something. And the core of that imagination is the theme of the month, which is unity. Our founder, Dr. Ernest Holmes, defines unity as the oneness of God and man, one life of which we are a part. And Marianne, you expressed it so beautifully. This is the foundation of our faith as religious scientists. So this morning, just taking that idea of unity, I want to talk about how unity brings spiritual progress, how unity fuels our vision, and how we can bring about unity. So unity brings about spiritual progress. You know, AA has a saying, all spiritual progress starts with truth. And what happens in AA meetings is you come up against denial until you tell the truth. And if anybody's familiar with the program, so many times we have issues and we have things going on and we kind of squeak the truth or tell a little bit of the truth. But when we get really clean, when we get sober of mind, heart, and soul, this is when we tell the truth of who we are. We are one with God. We are here expressing that one life. In the beginning, God, all things came from God, all things express God. This is us. This is our truth. And so by speaking that, believing it, accepting it, incorporating it, the virtue was a big deal today. I was like, trustworthy. We have a vision, we have something in us that knows that truth. And we must be trustworthy to live it and to tell it and to express it, because that is the only thing that's going to bring about change. So the truth we tell is God is the very life we live. That sounds so grandiose, doesn't it? But it is. And it's a grandiose thought. It's a grandiose idea. And we are living that idea. And as we move into expressing it, our life changes. As Marianne said, choose. We're choosing that idea. So we're all here because we're letting go of the story of not enoughness. If you have a story, we all have the story. It's not enough, there's not enough, we need this, we need that. Where for us, spiritual practice is the ability to just sit and be with ourselves. Every single one of us are enough. Everything we need is right where we are, because the Spirit of God, infinite presence, infinite good, infinite abundance, infinite wellness is here. And we must tell the truth about it. We tell the truth in the midst of confusion, in the midst of things that don't look that way. We still hold a vision. We still understand foundationally. We tell the story of unity. So this is a radical departure from which the world operates. And when we're telling that story, we're not changing who we are. We're telling a truth. but we're discarding who we're not. Do you get that? We're discarding who we're not. I'm enough. Health is here. Right action is going to take place. Something good is moving in my life right now. I see the blessing I have. I see the goodness I have. And instead of telling what doesn't work, we're seeing what does. So that's the amazing thing about our virtue, the unity, and the spiritual progress we're making. Our vision as a collective, not only in this church, but all religious science churches and all churches really, is a world that works for everyone. Isn't that what we all want? Aren't we dreamers for a world that works for everyone? It's a big vision. It's a really big vision. But to accomplish it, we must give up the illusion of separation. And that's a big illusion that we're operating in the world right now. There are so many problems in our world at this moment. And what do they come from? And where do they come from? A sense of separation, that we're not one people, one planet. Honestly, I love the song Imagine. I had a business, I named it Imagine. John Lennon was a very influential person in my life when I was willing to let go of what didn't work and try to hold a vision of something greater. Whatever is happening in your life right now, your vision can move to something greater. You don't even have to know what it is. You just have to know that there is an infinite presence that loves us so unconditionally and is not against us. It's not working against us. And if that's true, then how come things look like they do? Well, that's the good question that we always have to ask ourselves. Because they look like we do because we're changing our mind. We're changing our consciousness. I truly do believe we are in an evolutionary leap, and I hope we make it. Honestly, and I say that with a sincere heart and prayers that I say every day, because we can talk ourselves out of our own good personally, and we could do it collectively. And the world right now is asking us to change our thinking so we can change our lives, change the planet, and come back to a truth that there is one life, and it is all of our lives, and we can find our way through that. So we're not waiting in our life, we're not waiting to go to heaven. I don't want to die and get to heaven. I want heaven on earth. I want it while I'm right here. Don't you? And so how do we go about that? Because it's possible. This is the life we have. When we're in the next life, we'll be in that life. But we're in this one now. And so holding our vision, that is so sacred. Whatever is happening in your life, who you are, you came here with gifts. We all did, to bring forward. And the world needs you right now. Honestly, needs every gift you can give, every drop of love. We're in such a movement forward, and we've got to make it. I'm committed to making it. I want a world. I walked in this morning, and Mary's granddaughter was here, and she was in the kitchen helping her grandma. And I went in and I introduced myself to her because I just have, if there's children, my heart, I just have to be near them. They're the innocence. And I introduced myself and her little brown eyes lit up and she just stood at attention, and I told her how happy I was, and her innocence and her beauty just drives me to make the world a better place. We're a congregation of elders. We don't want to make, we're not denying anything in this congregation. We're just going to tell the truth about it. We are a congregation of elders, and we have eldership responsibility. We're the wisdom keepers. We're the wisdom keepers. That's how it used to be. It wasn't trying to get younger. It was trying to accumulate our wisdom. We have the wisdom to imagine a world that works for everyone. And so just coming together every Sunday with our beautiful Reverend Sandy and Kirk. Hi, Sandy and Kirk. When we come together and Just always move in the idea. Change your thinking, change your life. Something wonderful happens. So how do we bring the vision about? It sounds so grandiose, but what are the practical steps that we have and that we're going to move in that direction with? Well, one is to commit to our faith instead of committing to fear. I have to turn the news off. I mean, honestly, I like to stay up on what's happening in the world, but I get fearful. Does anybody else get that? It's a rough time. And I have to turn the TV off and go to my faith and say, this is a prayer request. What I'm seeing on the news is a prayer request. It isn't news. The news is God is here. We don't live in separation. That's the good news. That's the gospel. The rest is a prayer request. And so how we go about it is we hold our heart open. We look at what's happening, and we also speak our word. Say the truth about there is a possibility here of something greater, and I'm aligned with that. Use me. I love when we sing that song. So this week was a really interesting week for me because of the passing of Pope Francis. And they say people are like elevators. Some take you up, some take you down. This one took us up. And I just want to share something with you. 2 years ago, I went to Rome on a pilgrimage. And I did get to see Pope Francis. He was 3 people in front of me. Of course, I had to get everyone out of the way. Excuse me, you know. All those people were like, who is that? But the white hair gives you a little privilege. Excuse me. So I was 3 steps away, and my hand was out, and all the people, his presence was electric. It was electric. He had spiritual power. He really did. It was palatable. And it was such a wonderful, wonderful experience. I didn't go there to see him. That was a side adventure. I went there in search of Veronica's veil. If you're Catholic, and some people here come from that tradition, there are things called Stations of the Cross. And what we do is remember the death of Christ and the resurrection of Christ through these symbols that are usually on walls in Catholic churches. And the 6th station of the cross is Saint Veronica wipes the face of Jesus. And the story that's told in that tradition is when Jesus was walking and suffering, carrying the cross, Veronica, and she was a woman in the crowd. There's no history. She was just a woman who was seeing this experience. And women in those days wore long veils. And Veronica is watching the suffering of another human being, and she takes off her veil because she cannot help herself. Because seeing suffering moved her heart so deeply, she took her veil off and wiped his face. And there's a cloth with the imprint of the face on it that the Vatican has. And I wanted to see that. It's kind of like a mini Shroud of Turin. You know, it's like and I wanted to see it, not because I just wanted to see it, but because the story of Veronica touched my heart so deeply that in the midst of suffering, we step out of the crowd. You're just innocently watching the world go on fire, people bombing, people doing all kinds of crazy things. But we have to take off something. We have to give something of ourselves, like Veronica gave her veil. You have to give something of yourself and step out and do what's yours to do during these times. There's something each of us are called to do during these times to heal the sense of separation. Politically, spiritually, we have work to do. And it's deep and very spiritually intense work. But we're going to make it. That's what Imagine is about. We're going to make it as long as we do what's ours to do. Every person has a calling, Every person has something that is theirs in the making. So today I just wanted to talk about the Pope as an amazing person and how he brought about the unity and peace that we're seeing. It was amazing. Did you see what all the people that had come together, heads of state, people that don't like each other, people doing this and that and coming together? And I knew he was working on the other side, because when I saw Donald Trump and Vladimir Zelensky sitting in the Vatican, I thought, he left the world, but he probably was right at the gates of heaven and said, wait a minute, I have one more thing I've got to do. I've got to get this done. He brought everyone together, and he did it because of unity. He never had rules. And for people who can't step outside the structure, he's a danger. But if Veronica was near him, she would take off her veil and make sure that he was covered, protected, and she would watch him and reach out and say, let me do my part to make the world a better place. So I wanted to just tell you how much I love this community, that I know I'm with the right people. We're doing the right work. Every single one of us are called to be love in a particular way that's yours and that's mine. And so I want to close. We're going to have the prayer wall come up. People will have our ministers come up in just a moment. But when you come up to the prayer wall, maybe you could be holding the idea of what in your life, what do you need to make the world work for you? What is it that you need right now? So you can open yourself and stop saying, I don't have it, there's not enough, it can never be, and just let someone hold with you the possibility of whatever it is that would make your world work, because we want a world that works for everyone. So before I call the practitioners up, I just wanted to close with the way Pope Francis, made unity happen. And it's so interesting because he took the name Francis when he was Pope. Before that, he had another name. And then he took the name Francis because St. Francis of Assisi was his inspiration. And this is the prayer that St. Francis of Assisi prayed and Pope Francis lived. So I ask you to just listen to this in a very deep and spiritual way, and let it be our prayer. Let it be our prayer together. Lord, Lord, make me an instrument of thy peace. Where there is hatred, let me sow love. Where there is injury, pardon. Where there is doubt, faith. Where there is despair, hope. Where there is darkness, light. Where there is sadness, joy. Take that in. Divine Master, grant that I may not so much seek to be consoled as to console, to be understood as to understand, to be loved as to love. For it is in giving that we receive. It is in pardoning that we are pardoned, and it is in dying that we are born to eternal life. It's a prayer of the heart. It's a prayer of the soul. So just to seal every prayer that's been spoken, every heart that has been open to receiving a new idea, we just want to seal with this, with our affirmation, and if we could say it together, and so it is. Thank you so much.